Become a captive audience. Stick around and watch Sanctuary of Reality, my comic review series. Today we're looking at Church and State Chapter 43 in Cerebus issue 94, titled So. With Astoria held as his prisoner, Cerebus has a chat with her. They discuss her killing the Lion of Cerea, which she doesn't deny doing. She claims that he owes her for killing the Western Church's Pope before he could kill him, to putting him into a position to become Pope. Astoria feels Cerebus owes her for these things. He argues that he made himself Pope and Prime Minister before that. But she points out all he did was blow his opportunities. Cerebus claims she would always convince him the sky was falling, to the point he couldn't tell if that was true or not. Case in point, Most Holy goes to take a drink of water. Astoria tells him it's poisoned and he spits it out. Perturbed by her doing it to him again, he forces her to drink the water, only to discover she was manipulating him into giving her a long-awaited drink. Astoria cuts to the chase, offering to do him a favor in exchange for him doing her one. She takes off her panties in front of him and places them over his head, taunting the fact that he can't have sex with her because he's a good Orthodox Teremite who can't have sex out of wedlock. Cerebus quickly re-gags Astoria, declares himself divorced from Red Sophia again, and, as Pope, weds himself to Astoria. What is he doing that for, and what'll happen next? So, this is pretty much the first big controversial issue of Cerebus. There are a couple that we're going to have to go through, but this is the first. To spoil it, I have to, because there's no other way to have a discussion about it. Cerebus rapes Astoria. Now, Cerebus is a barbarian. Always keep that in mind. That is who he is. That is him to his core. You can make him prime minister, you can make him pope, but he's still going to be a pillage and plunderer in his heart. What he's done here should not be out of the realm of what he's capable of. Now, does he see it as rape? Probably not in this particular case. To him, it's probably just a husband and wife consummating a marriage. Remember, at the time period this takes place in, which is a sort of pseudo 1400s, it was widely believed that a husband couldn't rape a wife. It's a kind of mentality that was prevalent until pretty much modern day, really. It still exists in some cultures, and that's a terrible thing. But it's how things are and how things were. So it's there. You know, I'm not saying, it excuses it, but all I can say are these two things. First off, Astoria is a master manipulator. Look at the water incident just a few pages prior. I'm sure she doesn't take off her underwear and tempt a man with sex unless she's in full control of the situation and its outcome, gag or not. Now, why would she want Cerebus to force himself on her? I don't think that was her intention, per se. There's a spoiler for much later on. There's more to it than we see here. But you can see from her thoughts, it didn't happen the way she wanted it to. So, I mean, it's still rape, without any doubt. If sex happens not the way you want it to, that's usually the case, of a rape. So, this brings us to the second thing, which is there will be a reckoning. karmically, Cerebus does get paid back for his actions. So this isn't going to be swept under the rug. They don't act like this never happened. I mean, there's a couple of things happen to Cerebus that doesn't make up for it, but it does show that there are ramifications for what he's done. Aside from the controversial part of this issue, which on the first reading really did upset me. It actually, I was upset by this. It was a bit shocking, to be quite honest. But now, knowing what I know for later on, I see it in an entirely different light. And as a result, it doesn't sour the rest of the issue. This is a very good issue, actually. I like the two-person conversation issues a lot, and that's what this one is in a nutshell. It's great to finally see Cerebus and Astoria have at it after so much has happened. Look at how Church and State began and how high society ended. It takes a while to really get to it, but it's been worth it to me to get to see them together again and finally discussing how things ended. Next time, a dream, a hoax, an imaginary story.